Happy 4th of July, my MPP peeps. Welcome to another edition of the Weekend Free-for-All. We have our own fireworks display for you today in the form of charts that are ready to explode. So if you like what you see here and want this type of analysis daily, join our trading service at northpostpartners.com. It's only $50 a month. First month is free. You get all of our charts and setups daily. You get educational videos to help you become a more successful trader, and you get access to our Zoom calls each and every day where you can ask questions live and I will answer them. All right, so first let's get to the indices. The S&P is back above its 10 SMA, back above this uptrend line, right at the 0.618 retrace from this high to this low, above its 200 SMA. So, I mean, it looks bullish. And as long as this 10 SMA holds, I'm looking for 3250, possibly an overshoot to 3300. However, if we lose the 10 SMA and the 200 SMA first, before we get to that 3250, 2835, the 0.382 retrace from this low to this high will likely be hit, okay? But as long as we hold this 10 SMA, I'm looking up, and I'm looking for this 3256 first, okay? The Qs are very extended. I'm looking, my target was 257. We could still get there, but the odds of a pullback are increasing. And I would like to see some sort of consolidation and a pullback to at least test this uptrend line. And if that uptrend line fails, we could see this 233, 220 level. And that would actually be a healthy pullback and a dip buying opportunity. But right here, we're extended. I wouldn't open any new trade in the Qs. I would wait until we do get some sort of consolidation and pullback before entering long. The IWM, this one, it's still holding its uptrend line, but struggling to get above its 200 SMA. If it can get above the 200 SMA and hold, I think it's very possible we get a gap fill up to this 165 area. But if we lose this uptrend line, okay, we could head back down here to the 0.618 retrace, which is the retrace from this low to this high down to 118. So definitely watch this uptrend line to hold, because if it doesn't, we could get a cascade down. Next up, the DIA. Okay, this one's struggling as well with its 200 SMA. It needs to get above it next week. If it does, and we get another rally, I think we could close this gap. Okay, this gap needs to be closed around 290, 288. However, if we do lose these lows of 249, 250-ish, we lose those lows, I think we retest these lows of around 230. All right, so definitely put this 250 on your alerts if you're trading the DIA, because if we lose that, it's likely we get 230 next. All right, but a close above this 200 SMA and things are looking up. So let's see what we get next week. All right, next up, I want to go over some names that we are currently in. First up is ILMN, Alumina. This name is consolidating, or has consolidated really nicely up here, nice bullish flag, and is now breaking out. Okay, we got long this name when it closed above its 10 SMA, and this name is still actionable for a trade. Our target is 405.21, and our stop is a close below the 10 SMA, currently at 365. So this name has over 30 points of reward for only 8 points of risk, a very good reward to risk ratio. Next up, we got LRCX. This name, strong uptrend, trying to break above this little consolidation box we have right here. We got long on a break above this 10 SMA, and we're looking for 340, okay? And a stop is a close below 313.75. Next up, we got Marvel, another semiconductor. Marvel, nice strong uptrend and this really nice consolidation period, nice pullback, and now we're getting a break above this downtrend line, and we got a close above the 10 SMA. So I'm looking for a move to 39, and a stop is a close below 34.18. Nice looking chart there. Net, this name has been getting tattooed with call buying, okay? A lot of call buyers coming in. I'm looking for a move to 41.72 ultimately. This has had a really nice pullback from this high, from this low to this high, pull back to the 0.382 retrace, and is now back above the downtrend line, back above the 10 SMA. So I'm looking for 41 with a close or a stop below, a stop on a close below 35.94, which is the 10 SMA. So really nice reward to risk ratio in this one as well. ROKU. ROKU is, it's an up and down stock as of late, but trying to break back above this 200 SMA, and it closed above this little downtrend line that formed. Like the volume starting to come in, so my target right now is right around 140, 150. Okay, it's the 0.786 retrace from this high to this low. Brings you about 140, 150, and a stop is a close below the 10 SMA, which is at 124.43. So nice reward to risk ratio. Next up, we got TNDM. This one's been on a tear. It's a diabetes medication, and it's had a lot of good news lately. And look at this volume coming in, just massive volume, holding this uptrend line and starting to break above these highs. So we got in long on a break of this 10 SMA, and I'm looking for 115, 120 as a target, and a stop is a close below the 10 SMA at 91.23. So this one is still pretty good reward to risk ratio. Next up, we got Tesla. Tesla, this was also a request from @ExtraCoach. So @ExtraCoach, pay attention. We've been long this name a while. We got long on the break of this downtrend line, a break above this 10 SMA. So we've already taken some profits, and now we're holding runners for a target of 13.12. However, the reward to risk, okay, our reward is right here, and our risk is a close below the 10 SMA, which is pretty far away. So the reward to risk ratio for a new trade is not great. I would wait, if you're not long Tesla yet, I would wait for a retest of this uptrend line to get long, okay? That will, a retest right here will give you much better reward to risk, a much better reward to risk entry, because if you close below this this uptrend line, to get out, okay? And the closer you buy to this uptrend line, the better, the less your risk is, and the greater your reward is. So you want to make sure when you get in a trade, your reward to risk is at least 2 to 1, at least 2 times the reward for the risk. And right now, you're not getting that. Next up, we got some names that we are not long, but we are watching. Okay, we're watching to get long these names, and the first of those is BYND. This has been a nice uptrend as of late, and has pulled back to the 0.382 retrace from this low to this high, and is now trying to break this downtrend line. As soon as we close above the 10 SMA at 145.70, I'm going to get long with a target of 198.72. and then a stop will be a close back below that 10 SMA. So really nice reward to risk. Next up, we got CREE. CREE has pulled back to its 0.236 retrace after a strong move from this low to this high, and is now trying to break back above this downtrend line. So if it can close above the 10 SMA at 58.86, I'm going to get long with a target of 68 right here, and a stop will be a close back below the 10 SMA. So nice reward to risk. Next up, we got FTNT. Really like the way this name is consolidating above this 0.236 retrace from this low to this high. So nice consolidation box. If it can break above this downtrend line and close above it, I'm going to get long with a target of first 159, 160, second target of 178, 172, with a stop on a close below 136.98, which is the 10 SMA. So really nice reward to risk. Little risk, great reward. Next up, we got OCUL. Ocular Therapeutics has been on a tear, and it's pulling back really nicely to this 0.236 retrace from this low to this high. And if it can close back above the 10 SMA, which is currently at 851, I'm going to get long with a target of 10. And a stop will be a close back below that 10 SMA. So really nice reward to risk. Next up, we got THO, another one that's been on an absolute tear. It is retesting its 0.236 retrace from this low to this high. If it closes back above the 10 SMA at any point, I'm getting long with a target of first 124, and then second target 135. 124 and then 135, and a stop will be a close back below that 10 SMA. So really nice reward to risk ratio. Next up, we got TMUS, TMUS. This one's been on a tear as well. It's trying to get back down to, it's gotten back down to its 0.236 retrace from this low to this high, and almost got down to its 0.382 retrace, but volume, man, look at that volume, heavy volume coming back in. I'm looking for a move up to 116, 123 once we get back above this 10 SMA. So a close above this 10 SMA, and I'm getting long for 116, 123 with a stop on a close back below the 10 SMA. Next up, we got SWKS, yet another semiconductor. Semis are looking really good for the next wave up. And this is another one of those, coming back in nicely to retest this 0.236 retrace from this low to this high. And once it breaks above this downtrend line and above this 10 SMA, I'm looking for 144, 153 as my upper targets, with a stop on a close below the 10 SMA. So really nice reward to risk setting up here. Next up, we got VRI, Veritone, been on an absolute tear and pulling back nicely to its 0.236 retrace from this low to this high. Once it clears this downtrend line, closes back above in this 10 SMA, I'm getting long for a run to 22, 23. Okay, that would be our target, and a stop will be a close back below the 10 SMA. Next up, we got YY, been on a monster move, retesting its 0.236 retrace, coming back in from this low to this high. The 0.236 retrace is right at 87, held that, and is now trying to break above this downtrend line. If it can and it closes above the 10 SMA, currently at 92.74, that's a trigger long for us for a 107, 108 target, and a stop will be a close back below the 10 SMA. So really nice reward to risk ratio. All right, now we have some name requests that came in through Twitter, and these first round of names is from Nay Whale Hassan. So Naywell Hasan, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but here are your names. The first one you requested is TOELY, Tokyo Electron. This one looks good, breaking above these highs, a nice gap here, and it's holding the gap. My next target for this is 73.43, and my stop would be a close below the 10 SMA right at 60.94. Next up, you requested AARTI drugs. Okay, this one, really strong uptrend and pulling back to its 10 SMA. Really like this setup. My target would be 14.43 and a stop will be a close below the 10 SMA at 12.33.53. So really nice reward to risk ratio right here. Next up, you got MUTHOOTFIN. Okay, this is Muthoot Finance. Never heard of this name, but I really like the setup. It's come down and tested the 0.236 retrace from this low to this high and is now broken above this downtrend line and above the 10 SMA. My next target for this will be 1400, 1413, and a stop will be a close below the 10 SMA, which is currently at 1,111. So nice reward to risk setup here as well. Lupin is your next one. Lupin is consolidating nicely up here, really holding this bullish flag. I would trade a break of the high here at 956. If it can get back above 956, I would target 1027 with a stop below on a close below the 10 SMA, which is currently at 920. Okay, so this will be a nice risk a reward to risk setup as well. So yeah, a lot of great setups in that list there. All right, next up we got VTANBB at VTANBB. You requested BTAI. Okay, Bioxyl Therapeutics. This one's been on a strong run and really like this setup as well. Pull back to its 0.236 retrace of this low to this high right around 50, and it held it. If it can get back above this downtrend line, back above the 10 SMA, which currently sits at 54.82, if you can get a close, a daily close back above that, that would be a trigger long to go for 70, 69.70, with a stop on a close back below the 10 SMA. So nice reward to risk setup here. And then our next request comes in from at Wings of Fire. You got 5 names here. The first one is Cat. Cat is not my favorite setup. It's below its 200 SMA. If you want to make a trade, wait for a close back above the 200 SMA and then go for 137, 143 with a stop on a close back below the 10 SMA or the 200 SMA. Okay, but still not my favorite setup. You might have a little juice to 137, 143, but you know, if it stays below this 200 SMA, it is a no-go. Anything below the 200 SMA is a no-go. Next up, you got G. Same thing. I would wait on a close, a daily close above the 200 SMA to go for 39, you can go for 40, 42 for a trade with a stop on a close back below the 200 SMA. But as long as it stays below this 200 SMA, it would be a no-go for me. Next up, you got RNECY. Same thing here. It's below the 200 SMA. I would need to see a close above the 200 SMA to get long for a trade to 328, 350. Okay, but as long as it stays below the 200 SMA, there's no sense in getting in it. Okay, because anything below the 200 SMA, odds are it's going to continue down. Okay. Next up, you got DTE. This one, another one below the 200 SMA. I would wait. If you want to trade it, wait until it closes above the 200 SMA, and then you can go for 121, 128 with a stop, with a stop on a close back below the 200 SMA. And then finally, you have PVR. And now PVR is actually, of all your picks, my favorite. You got nice consolidation above this 200 SMA. You have bullish divergence. You can see lower lows in the stock price, but higher lows. See these higher lows right here? Higher lows in the MACD. Okay, that's bullish divergence, and this rally could continue. So I would look, if you want to trade this name, it's a good time to get long with a stop on a close below the 200 SMA, which is currently at 311. So a close below 311, you want to get out, and your target would be first 514, okay, which is the 0.236 retrace from this entire move down. I'll show you. From this move all the way down, the 0.236 retrace is at 514, and then the 0.382 retrace is at 750. So that would be my first target, 5, and my second target would be 750. And then a stop would be a close below 200 SMA. So decent, very good reward to risk setup here. All right, guys, that's the show for this week. I'll see you guys again in 2 weeks for another weekend free-for-all. And until then, don't trade for thrills. Just consistently make those dollar bills.